Let's listen in. Do we have audio on that? Let's listen in.
Embassy, you can tell us about your visit here and the Premier having sent you all that.
Okay. Thank you very much to all of you. We are here on behalf of the Provincial Executive Council of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, just to come and view what has happened here in the area of Mooi River. We vehemently condemn the criminality that is happening here. People are going to lose a number of jobs, and the investors are going to lose confidence in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We wish to warn the criminals out there who are continuously perpetrating violence in the province of KwaZulu-Natal that we'll never tolerate that, and the perpetrators of violence are going to become apprehended, and they will face the might of the law in this province of KwaZulu-Natal. We have now combined a multidisciplinary law enforcement task team that is dealing with criminality that is happening here, and we are really warning people that they must just stop this thing that is happening, and we are also calling for restraint on our people. They must be calm. We don't want to be known as a province that is having a lot of people that are perpetrating violence. We want to be known as a province that is promoting harmony, that is promoting peace, that is promoting prosperity. So we are really persuading our people to be calm in this situation.
Thank you. Let's invite Honorable Vice-President.
Thank you very much. I think the fact that we are jointly deployed here as the JCPS cluster and the economic cluster has a message in its own. From my side, we are very, very concerned about the impact on the economy of the province and therefore of the country. You all know this is the N3, which is a lifeblood from a logistics point of view between the harbour and Gauteng and indeed the rest of Africa. So we want to add our voice to the call for calm. The issues that are there that are of concern to people, the President and the Premier has stated that we share the pain of many of our people as to what has happened, but we are very clear that the constitutional framework, the rule of law are sacrosanct. And there's a line between genuine protest, which we can understand and sympathize with, versus criminality of the type that we are seeing here in town, in Mooi River and in other parts of the province. We are pleased that the security cluster has mobilized, has a plan, is doing its work. As we can see, trucks are moving on the N3, but we are not going to be under any illusion that the task is complete. The political leadership has been meeting nationally, we'll be meeting provincially. Tomorrow we'll be having a meeting of the Provincial Economic Council. The Provincial Economic Council brings together business, government, labor and civil society to collate our reports and to further massify a single message, which is basically to all people: let's be calm. Yes, we may have issues, but there are processes for those to be dealt with, and from the law enforcement side we have both a constitutional duty, a legal duty, and indeed our duty to all people. From our side, from the economic cluster, the single biggest task is to rebuild our economy, and we'd be dishonest if we're saying this has not taken us back. It has happened. We need to restore order and start to rebuild. Let me also say that economic transformation is central to our government's policy, nationally and provincially. I dare say that there is no other voice that has been as consistent or as passionate about economic transformation than our Premier Seychelles Ikalala. But what we're saying, we won't allow those who want to vulgarize economic transformation, those who want to reduce economic transformation to looting. That we cannot accept. That's not in the interest of the province. That's not in the interest of the people. That's not in the interest of the hundreds of thousands of young people who want us to create job opportunities. Let me pause.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we then take any questions from colleagues before Honorable MEC Ngonyeni summarize for us in Isizu? Starting with you, Karinda Goge, in that order, and then we'll take the final round.
MEC is perhaps a question first for MEC Pillay. Do we know so far what is the cost of the damages to our various companies around our economy? And then MEC Pillay, perhaps you can also tell us what has been, in terms of the deployment on our roads for safety and securing around the protest, what has been the cost of that for our department? Have you had to exceed your budget because of these protests to get our men on the ground, our men and women on the ground to secure areas? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you for that. Look, we don't have a complete collation. Tomorrow at the Economic Council meeting, our social partners will come with detailed reports. But if we just look at the 33 trucks that were damaged or burned, shops that were looted, at this stage a conservative estimate would be 100 million rand, a conservative estimate. But that would be collated more thoroughly between now and tomorrow.
Okay, I might not have an actual figure, but the fact of the matter is that we have decided to add shifts for our road traffic inspectorates. They were actually working on 3 shifts, but now they are working on 4 shifts. In other words, we're going to use more budget that was allocated for this particular purpose, for this particular criminality and unrest that is happening in the province of KwaZulu-Natal.
Ayanda Mhlongo from ENCA, your critics will say you are arriving now after the effect. 24 hours, 48 hours is gone. The freeway, the strategic trade route has been blocked for almost more than 24 hours. Where have you been? Why are you arriving now? And did your law enforcement agencies sleep on the job? Were they caught napping? Because this is not for the first time the trucks are burned here. You should have anticipated this. You knew about this protest. Do you take blame and responsibility for this chaos as the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal?
I'm not sure if you are amongst the critics or you are just reporting on behalf of critics.
I'm just a report.
No, I think it's very easy to have the wisdom of hindsight. Yes, we expected trouble, and I think the widespread nature of it would have stretched our resources. But I think the South African police services responded to the best of their ability. I mean, it was tactics, which I'm not going to describe because I don't want to give further credence to it. But I think we ourselves have said to the police that we understand that the challenge here is 90% political, and that work is being done as far as that is concerned, but the police will do their side of the job. I don't think it's a kind of challenge that could have been managed completely through an enforcement response.
I think adequate.
Why are you only arriving now, though? Don't you think you should have reacted earlier in terms of showing visibility?
We might be arriving now as the political leadership, but our teams have been on the ground ever since this thing happened. So we were in offices ensuring that there are plans. We were developing plans, and we have developed very clear plans that were discussed in the Provincial Executive Council even yesterday. They were approved by the Executive Council, and we are really satisfied with what the provincial government has actually done regarding this.
But I think I need to add to you that our work is not only being visible for the TV cameras.
Yes.
The task is mobilizing, motivating, coordinating.
Yes.
On Friday night, for example, I was up till very late in the night, coordinating between the problems in Corpsville, which had nothing to do with the bigger problem around the former president. That was an electricity problem, but the resources of the public order unit were stretched between here and that particular problem. So we were there up till very late, coordinating between the various arms of government, trying to bring solutions to the problem. Of course, some of the problems are difficult, are intractable, and will not be an event. The solution will not be an event, will be a process, and we have to gear ourselves up for that.
Ayanda, the last one, Ayanda, then Karina.
Ayanda Mhlongo from the SABC. MEC plans to engage with the community here around Mooi River. It's not for the first time that they've gone on the rampage, looted stores and destroyed trucks. What are your plans to meet with this community?
Indeed, we will continuously engage the community through their leaders, because there are leaders here. This thing has been happening for quite a long time, and we are condemning it as the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal. As I alluded earlier on, we will lose investors. The people of this area will also lose their jobs if they continue doing this. So we will continue engaging them. Yes.
If I may add, I think we must be honest and say that the disaster regulations, the COVID-19 disaster declaration and the regulations are obviously preventing mass gatherings. So we have to find new ways of communicating with our people. Of course, we do so with, I think the mayor is going to join us soon. I personally been speaking to a councillor from this particular area. His job is to communicate to the ward committees and bring the message to the ground. But part of the decisions of the meetings that are taking place today and into this evening will be to come out with a community engagement program and format that is compliant with the disaster regulations. COVID-19 doesn't go away because we have this challenge, so we have to keep our eye on that ball as well.
Okay, thank you very much. One of MEC.
Sorry, a final question from news from MECs. We know that Monday tomorrow is a big day politically because the rescission application is back in court. We're anticipating more protests, in fact more volatile protests. What are your plans on the ground in terms of securing parts of our province?
We actually cannot divulge too much about the security issues, but we are ready as the province of KwaZulu-Natal to intervene as and when it becomes necessary for us to do that. But we are calling for calm, we're calling for restraint. Our people should know that there is not even one single insane person who actually celebrates what has happened to former President Zuma. But we are saying people should understand what has happened. So violence, public violence is not going to solve any problem in this province of KwaZulu-Natal.
About your visit here.
All right, that was the MEC for Economic Development, Ravi Pillay, together with the MEC for Transport, Community Safety and Liaison, Empangeni, who have come here to the Mooi River Toll Plaza to inspect the extent of the damage. As you see behind us, these huge tow trucks that are clearing up the rest of the debris here and the remnant of the trucks that were towed to a plane. And let's just quickly go through and very briefly what the main points of this briefing by the MECs. Importantly, as we know that tomorrow the application by the former president, the rescission application by former President Jacob Zuma will be heard in the Constitutional Court, and there already are concerns that overnight they could see an escalation of violence across the KwaZulu-Natal and other parts of the country, as we've already seen protests in Johannesburg and other provinces. But they are saying, as the KwaZulu-Natal government, that they're ready to respond to any situation, of course not being able to divulge the security plans, but they saying that they have adequate security on the ground. In fact, here speaking on the toll on the highways, that being the N3 and the N2, they're now saying that they've decided to even increase the shifts plane of the officers so that there's a 24-hour presence and visibility of police officers here on these two main highways. Of course, very importantly, what has happened here and the impact on the economy. We heard from the MEC for Economic Development, Ravi Pillay, saying that tomorrow there's going to be a meeting of the economic cluster, which includes government, business and labor, but saying that they are very, very concerned about this situation and the impact on the economy. MEC Peggy Nkonyeni even saying that they condemn this act, and that if people continue in such protests, they are going to lose their jobs. So that's it for now, Blaine. Let's take it back to you.
All right, Ayanda Mhlongo, live for us in KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Above her is Natasha Piri, live for us.